So the biggest problem in the church uh, is the idea that man is responsible for his own good deeds. There's not enough people who teach hardcore Calvinism. There's not enough people who teach that if you do good deeds, it's God working through you. I can't stand it. Too many people, too many Christians, they essentially are trying to live by the law, meaning they believe that of their own free will they can keep the law. It's like they've never read the Bible before. I really think that's it. The Holy Spirit has never appeared to them while reading the Bible and enlightened them to it. But the biggest problem is that nobody believes that God is actually on the throne. Even Christians don't believe that. They do not believe that God is sovereign. They don't believe that God directs everything, because they cannot reconcile, well, if God directs everything, then why do bad things happen? Because God has a nature that he wishes to fully express. And part of that nature is anger. God desires to express his fullness in glory, which includes wrath. And Christians focus so much on the love that they ignore that God has also a wrathful side. And the problem is that whenever they only preach love, they only preach one side of God, then people say, well, if God is love, then why do people suffer? Well, the answer is that God is not only love. God is also wrath, okay? He's gracious and merciful, but he's also just and gets angry. And because Christians are not willing to say that God is a God of wrath, that God is a God of anger, that Christ being crucified was God's love and grace toward us, but it was God's wrath upon Jesus, because they don't mention wrath, they're afraid of wrath, they want people to avoid wrath, they don't talk about wrath. And when they don't talk about wrath, what that does is it gives us an incomplete view of God. And when people ask questions about why do bad things happen, and then they say, well, if God is love, why do bad things happen? The Christians have no response, because they're not teaching biblically. They're trying to make God all love. They're trying to fit God into a mold that God is not, because they're ignoring the fullness of God's glory. They are ignoring the wrath of God, which is biblical. God desires to make the fullness of his glory known, which includes wrath. If you include that, then we have no problem. God is complete. There's a complete picture of God.